Ladies and gentlemen, a mystery illness has hit Maharashtra once again after GBS. This one is not attacking your nerves, it is straight attacking your follicles and has a small district called Buldhana tearing its hair with worry. Since January this year, ladies and gentlemen, a baldness epidemic has spread through the area with almost 400 people spread across 18 villages losing all their hair in 3 to 4 days. The hair just fell off and triggered major panic. Weddings were called off. Students stopped going to schools and colleges. Unable to fathom the cause, the Indian Council of Medical Research and the All India Institute of Medical Sciences were mobilized to Buldhana. Such is the fear that the local MP, Pratap Rao Jadhav, who just by the way is also the MOS Agriculture at the center, had to hold a press conference today to calm the concerns. Listen in to what he said.
ICMR का जो रिपोर्ट था वो वहाँ पर आया है, तो वो जो रिपोर्ट था वो प्राथमिक रिपोर्ट उन्होंने दिया था कि कुछ जो खाद्य पदार्थ हमारे होते खाने की चीज़ें होती है उसमें से सेलिनियम अगर खाने में आ जाता है तो उससे शरीर में सेलिनियम बढ़ने से बाल झड़ने लगते हैं। और उन्होंने जो रिसर्च किया था तो उन्होंने सब सारी खाने की चीज़ें ली थी। कुछ चीज़ों में जैसे कि गेहूं के उन्होंने 3 सैंपल लिए थे, तो उसमें के एक सैंपल में बिल्कुल ही सेलिनियम उनको दिखा नहीं, लेकिन एक सैंपल में उनको थोड़ा सेलिनियम वहाँ पर दिखा, और एक इसमें थोड़ा जो उनका प्रमाण होता है उसमें रखने का तो उससे थोड़ा ज़्यादा था। लेकिन सिर्फ उसके वजह से वह ऐसा नहीं है, एक ही फैमिली में के कुछ लोगों को हुआ, कुछ लोगों को बाल झड़े, कुछ लोगों के नहीं झड़े। एक गांव में के पूरे लोग जो एक ही जगह से खाने पीने की चीज़ें खरीदते हैं तो सभी लोगों के ऊपर कोई बाल झड़ने की वहाँ पर बाल झड़े नहीं। कुछ कुछ लोगों में ऐसा हुआ है, तो उस पर डिटेल से रिसर्च हमारे लोग वहाँ पर निश्चित रूप से करके हमको आपको बाद में बताएं।
Okay, as is evident, the government is still not sure of what exactly is triggering the severe hair loss, but the needle of suspicion has fallen on the humble roti. A scientist from Maharashtra with a Padma Shri under his belt has made the claim that wheat from Punjab is behind Buldhana's baldness. He has collected hair, blood, urine, water and soil samples from the region. He has also collected samples of locally produced wheat and wheat from the PDS, that's the public distribution system. Dr Himmatrao Bawaskar is claiming that their testing is showing that patients had a shocking amount of selenium in their body, 600 times above normal, and that is what he says is triggering the hair fall. He says that the wheat supplied under the PDS has very high levels of this mineral. Essentially, to cut a long story short, he's essentially claiming that toxic wheat from Punjab procured by the Food Corporation of India for distributing to the poor people in this country is what is causing Maharashtra's baldness. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's worth noting that Punjab is the largest supplier of wheat to the central food pool, contributes nearly 47% of the procurement. And the grain, as you know, is distributed under the Prime Minister's Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Is Punjab really the trigger for this alarming hair loss epidemic in Maharashtra? I'm putting that question to Dr Himmatrao Bawaskar, who's joining us on the show. Dr Bawaskar, thank you very much for your time. Can you please help us understand what exactly your study has found? Because the government is non-committal.
So when I read a news in the local newspaper that there is an epidemic of baldness of hair, baldness of the scalp all over the near about 18 villages in Buldana district. So ultimately I visited the place, two villages, Bongaon village and Machindragarh. Now in Bongaon village there are 28% who got a baldness. So we studied in detail, we take the history of the patient. Patients say they consume the ration wheat. That day after that consuming the rest, they got a loose motion, vomiting, fever for 1 day, then headache, itching over the scalp, and then a tingling numbness of scalp, and they can easily pull their hairs, a bunch of hairs without pain. So after 2 to 3 days or within 1 week, they lose total hair of the scalp. They become totally bald. The important, it becomes stigmas in societies. So many students avoid to go to school and colleges. Even their marriages were disrupted. No vegetable vendors and milk supply was visiting to this place. No guest even available. So ultimately, I collected the blood, urine, and the hair sample of this victim who had a baldness. Then I collected the wheat samples from which they have consumed. That is the ration wheat sample. Because this patient has a wheat who has consumed the ration wheat, we collected that sample also, and we collected the sample of the local wheat produce, local soil produce, and there's ash, then a coal, then soil, and the local vegetable produce and local land. Because this is a drought area, drought affected area. The important thing is they are very below poverty line. They don't have more yield every year, which is enough. So everybody depends on the ration edibles, and particularly stable food is the wheat. So we collected we brought sample to the here. In the wheat, which are seen, we wash the wheat. And before washing and after washing, the selenium in the wheat ration wheat was same. This indicates selenium was not added for externally or not contain the bag also. Then we investigate the blood, urine, and hair, which has got 1,000 times higher than selenium. Thallium, zinc, arsenic was absent, but the zinc was low in this victim. Cadmium was also. So ultimately, the cause of this was the high selenium content. Now selenium causes oxidative stress on the hair. It damages the mitochondrial membrane. Ultimately, it causes loss of hair. Second, zinc. Zinc arrests the degeneration and improve the proliferation of the hair. One of the cause of zinc deficiency is also alopecia. So ultimately, these two that selenium and zinc is responsible, but the local produce crops, that is wheat and other edibles, doesn't contain high level of selenium. Even local soil and wheat doesn't contain high levels of. So ultimately, the ration wheat, which we brought, it was containing high level of selenium.
But sir, how are you sure that the toxic wheat actually came from Punjab? It could have come from Haryana. It could have come from Madhya Pradesh as well, which are again wheat growing areas.
No, the problem is that we take these photographs of the gunny bag where from this wheat was consumed. It was a gunny bag written is the wheat is from Punjab. So ultimately we conclude the wheat is from Punjab. So I just studied the detail of the Punjab land. Now wheat is a common crops in Punjab. Punjab land cut is a high selenium level because this Shivalik mountain range, which is just by the side of Himalayas, this rocks is rich in selenium. And during monsoon season, there is high concentrated rivulets open with a high concentrated water spread all over this Punjab land. Now this Punjab land water level is very high, very up. And the important thing is that now the selenium contains a very high level. And ultimately the wheat has a property to absorb and retain the more selenium. The problem is that now this because of this selenium we contains there are two districts, that is Shahrampur and these are two districts which is loaded with the high selenium. Even this many pieces of the land is spent that no crop should be taken from that area. This confirmed selenium was very high in two districts. Accidentally, if the wheat is imported out, which has been actually retained in that gunny bag from these two districts, and they are distributed to the area which we are under treatment, under study, confirm this may be responsible for selenium high concentration. But this accidentally happened. So this we don't expect it will regularly happen all over the Maharashtra. So this is a specific where from the selenium might have enter in the wheat, and that accidentally that bags has reached to these people.
Okay, Doctor, we leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Bawaskar there, someone who's gone and actually conducted a study on this baldness, giving us his version of what happened. Thank you very much. Siraj Hussain is a former Union Agriculture Secretary joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Sumesh Gupta is a professor of dermatology at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. He was in fact part of the group that went to collect samples at Buldana. Can I ask you what you found? Because we are not just talking about any hair loss. We are talking about a severe hair loss where people, I believe, lost all their hair in what, 2 to 3 days?
Yeah. So when we visited the area, there were families, there were clustering of the cases in the families, and in some villages we saw many people coming with hair loss, and the hair loss was so severe that I hadn't, in my more than 25 years of dermatology experience, I had never seen the kind of hair loss they were having. So two things that we tried to investigate, whether it's an infective etiology, some infection, some new fungal infection, or some viral infection, or any other infection. So first we looked from that point of view, and we eventually ruled it out that it wasn't an infection. And then it came to whether it's a water or any other food source which could have resulted in this kind of sudden hair loss. Then water was tested and found no heavy metal or any poison which can harm the hair. Now, so we, I think, come down to the food sources. But I'm not very sure whether it is good idea without extensive investigation to labeling wheat coming from just two districts as the cause of this sudden acute hair loss. Selenium is known to cause this kind of hair loss, in which the hair are broken from the surface. They don't come out from the root. So this we observed when we saw our patient. The hair were coming out like they were coming out without any force, but they were breaking from the surface without any force.
Okay. So you're saying selenium is the villain in this case, but it has come from a food product. It could be wheat, or it could be mustard as well, which also absorbs a lot of selenium from the soil, right?
Yes.
But here's the point, Siraji, you're joining us on the broadcast as well. The obvious question to ask is, if selenium is the villain of the piece, then the first people to have reported this hair loss should have been people from the two districts in Punjab from where this wheat has come from. Now, I did some research. It seems that in the year 2000, there were reports of massive hair fall that we are seeing in Buldhana being reported from these two districts as well. So is it fair to say that it was indeed toxic grain from Punjab that is causing Maharashtra's baldness? And can the FCI do something about it?
So there are a couple of things. First of all, the government of India has asked All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Indian Council of Medical Research to investigate the reasons. I think it would be unrealistic to reach a conclusion without detailed investigation. So as the professor from All India Institute of Medical Sciences has pointed out, that detailed investigations are underway and we should wait for that report. Now, the point number two is that it is true that in various states, the quality of wheat and rice which is grown has deteriorated over the years for a variety of reasons. For example, there was a report from West Bengal which found that the rice which is being grown in some districts of West Bengal has deficiency of zinc and iron and excessive quantity of arsenic. So it is true that in some districts of India, there may be contamination, there may be instances like this. However, I must say that wheat procured in Punjab goes to the entire country, and it is not only in Buldana. In Maharashtra itself, it would be going to almost all the districts. So what is the cause and effect of the wheat procured in one district? I do not think at this point of time it would be correct to reach any specific conclusion. I do not think FCI can do much because, first of all, this year our wheat crop is affected because of higher temperature, and therefore the government will do everything to procure as much wheat as possible.
Okay, but doctor, selenium is not necessarily a bad thing. It's only if it is consumed in levels more than the body requires does it become toxic, right? I want to ask you, in your experience in Buldhana, did you see these cases of baldness from families? Say if one person in a family is impacted, everyone is impacted? Or did you see it spread across, that maybe two people from one family, five from one from other, the others were perfectly fine? What was this demographic like?
So while there were clustering of the cases in certain families, however, at the same time, not all the members in the family were affected. And specifically, the previous reports which are there, they often show very like nail changes as a predominant finding, the dystrophy of the nail, the discoloration and dystrophy of the nails. as well as hair. So here we didn't find any patient coming with nail dystrophy, which means deformity of the nails. And mostly the scalp hair were affected, the other areas, body hair were affected, but not as severe as the scalp hair, which is expected because scalp hair grow very fast, and any toxin or any toxicity would impact the fast growing tissues more as compared to slow growing tissue.
अच्छा आप मुझे बताइए, many people are watching and saying, oh my god, can your roti actually cause baldness? Because that is what seems to be happening in Maharashtra. So how do we know?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't get our wheat tested, or can we get it tested for selenium?
Yeah, but the pattern of hair loss seen in Buldana district was very peculiar. And the patients of hair loss we see in day-to-day practice is not at all similar to the kind of hair loss we saw in Buldana.
Okay.
So the selenium toxicity leads to loss of hair from the surface. The most of the other hair loss causes which we see in day-to-day practice, they come with the root.
Roots,
So it is entirely a different kind of hair loss which we saw there in Buldana as compared to the hair loss we see in day-to-day practice.
Okay.
So relating every hair loss to roti or wheat will be unfair at this point of time, because everyone consumes heat and not all of us get the hair loss.
And that's right, but Punjab is one of the largest producers of wheat in this country. Siraj Hussain, I have 20 seconds, but I have a question for you. You are saying that the FCI cannot do much at this point of time. At least it can stop the procurement of wheat from these two particular districts for the time being till a conclusion is reached as to what exactly is causing this baldness in Maharashtra. I mean, this is how GBS started, right? We couldn't figure out the reason, and the next thing we know is that it's spreading to different parts of the country. At least that much the FCI can do? Stop the procurement of wheat from at least these two districts?
I do not think the government of India will take that call and stop procurement from these two districts, because as the professor has mentioned, the causal effect is not very clearly understood. I think we need more investigation. Until that time, wheat procured from these districts can be stored and not issued in the public distribution system.
Okay, just very quickly, have people stopped consuming wheat in Buldana?
No, not really.
Not really. They continue to do so.
They continue to do so, and the biggest problem correlating a direct correlation is that not everyone in the family who is consuming the same wheat is getting it.
Correct.
So and many families which consume wheat, which procured wheat from public distribution system, they said that they procured but didn't consume, and they used it for animal feed and other purposes. Okay. And still some of them, they got the severe hair loss.
Okay.
So while the wheat is a suspect, but we need to wait for detailed investigation, and also pinpointing two districts will be unfair at this point of time.
At this point of time. So we'll wait for the government of India to come up with a conclusive study. You, of course, are part of the study, so we'll get in touch with you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap from me with that. Siraj Hussain, thank you very much. Dr. Somesh Gupta, thank you for coming to our studios and telling us what exactly is going on. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, it's a wrap from me. Thank you for watching. Shreya Dhoundial is joining you at the top of 9 with all the top stories.